Predaplant is a fusion deck that mainly focuses on dark fusion monsters. Starting with 3 Scorpio, if summoned you can send a monster from hand to grave to special a Predaplant from deck. 2 Cobra, if specialed by a Predaplant monster you can add a Polymerization or fusion spell from deck but only once per duel. 3 Chlamydosundew, main thing is it can fusion summon a dark monster including this card. 3 Bufolicula, pendulum effect is you can fusion summon a dark monster using monsters from hand or field and can add a dark pendulum from the extra to hand if used for a fusion. 1 Triantis, can use pendulum monsters in Pendulum Zone as fusion materials, and if used as fusion material can put predator counters on monsters. 3 Byblisp, main effect is if sent to grave you can add a Predaplant monster from deck. 1 Sarraceniant, when opponent declares a direct attack you can special this. It can destroy opponent's monster after damage, and is destroyed by battle you can add a Predap card from deck. 1 Hydra, if in hand or grave contribute a monster with a predator counter to special this to field. 3 Lonefire, tributes a face-up plant to special a plant from deck. 1 Fallen of Albaz for random fusion. 1 Staysailor Romarin, if sent to grave by card effect you can send a level 5 or lower plant from deck or extra deck to grave. 3 Ghost Mourner and 3 Ghost Ogre for hand traps. 1 Branded Fusion, fusion summons a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz and you can use materials from hand, field, or deck. 1 Instant Fusion, pay 1,000 to special level 5 or lower fusion from the extra. 1 Polymerization, the original way to fusion summon. 1 Super Poly, discard 1 and can fusion summon using monsters from either field and is searchable in this deck. 1 Predaprime Fusion, if a Predaplant is on field you can fusion a dark monster using monsters from either field but have to include 2 dark monsters you control. 3 Predapractice, specials a Predaplant from hand and then adds a Predap card from deck. 2 Allure of Darkness, draws 2 then banish a dark monster from hand. 1 Predaplanning, sends a Predaplant from deck to grave and place a predator counter on all face-up monsters on field. Also if you fusion a dark monster, you can banish this from grave to destroy a card on field. 1 Branded Banishment, can special level 8 fusion from grave and then you can fusion a level 8 or higher monster by banishing the materials from either field. And for the extra deck, 3 Drosophyllum, can place a predator counter on an opponent's face-up monster and this negates activated effects of opponent's monsters with predator counters. 2 Moonlit, if fusioned you can add a Predaplant or Predap spell or trap from grave, deck, or face-up extra. You can also tribute an opponent's monster with a predator counter or your monster you control to special a Predaplant from deck. 1 Chimera, can target a monster with equal or lower level and banish it. Is able to change the attack of the monster it battles and can add a Polymerization or a fusion spell from deck during the next standby phase after this was sent to grave. 1 Albion the Branded Dragon, if fusioned you can fusion an 8 or lower monster by banishing the materials from hand, field, or grave. 1 Mirror Jade, can send a fusion from extra to grave that mentions Albaz to banish a monster on field, and if this fusion card leaves the field because of the opponent, you can destroy all opponent's monsters in the end phase. 2 Albaz, during the end phase if this was sent to grave this turn you can add a Polymerization or fusion normal spell from deck. 1 Magnum the Reliever, main thing is if opponent activates a card you can banish a Polymerization or fusion spell in grave and destroy a card on field. 1 Guardian Chimera, when fusion can destroy cards equal to how many monsters used from field and can draw cards based on how many were used in hand. 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, if fusion summoned can gain attack equal to opponent's special summon monster till the end of the turn. 1 Predaplant Triantis, when opponent would special from the extra you can negate the summon and destroy the monster. And 1 Predapower Fusion Dragon, contribute a monster with a predator counter to negate the activation of a card. And that's the deck at less than $20. It has some cool combos, but they can be kinda easy to hand trap.